In this video, we're going to add in a few more characters, and then we're going to have a damage system for our player. Okay, so at the moment we only have 2 of each character, so what I want is effectively a total of 4 of each characters. That gives us a total of 12. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is create a new empty game object, and I'll simply call this enemies. That way we can keep them all together. Okay, I'll just zero out the position. I always like to do that. And then we're going to take all of our enemies, put them in there, and then furthermore inside of our enemies, let's click game object, create another empty game object. Let's call this zombies. Create another one, so right click, create empty. Let's call this bats. Right click, create another empty, and let's call this ghosts. The reason why I do this is so that I'm sure it's going to be rendering the exact same objects in sequence. Alright, so it's not going to have to switch shaders like what I've spoken about before. I mean, the zombie character is using the same shader as the bat, to be honest. It's the mobile unlit, but I know the ghost is using a very different shader, so that one's using the mobile particles additive. So as long as they're in sequence, it just frees up performance for your processor and your graphics card. So ghosts go onto ghosts, bats onto bats, zombies onto zombies. There we go. Alright, that's a lot better. So let's add some more zombie characters then. Control and D. Put one a little bit further down so it's a little bit closer. Then Control and D. Let's have another one. Let's have this one maybe further back. And you might want to check this out in the simulator as you're doing this to see what this looks like. And that looks fine. Okay, then our ghosts. Control D. This one here in front of the zombie. And then another one. Control and D again. Let's put one further back here. Okay, and then the bats, Control and D. Put one over here, Control and D, and maybe put one all the way over here like this. Okay, so that now we've got 4 of each characters. So what I want to do is in the script where I have the if ghosts on screen are less than 2, I now want to make that less than 4. Okay, same for bats on screen, less than 4, and zombies on screen, less than 4. So when I scroll right up to the top and it says zombies on screen, we want to make that 4 to begin with. Bats on screen 4, and ghosts on screen 4. So it's whatever numbers we've got. Now I think because I made those public, actually I need to change those in the inspector as well. You might change them in the script, but then when you check the inspector, see that they're still set at 2. Alright, so that can catch a few people out. There we go. Yep, everything else is good. Okay, so now we've got a lot more characters. I might actually want my zombies just to move a little bit quicker. So I'm going to take all my zombies, and the speed, instead of 0.25, I might make that about 0.5. Alright, so twice as fast as they were previously. Now in the mobile game resources, you've got some sound effects. We've got a bat attack, flesh bite, and ghost howl. Okay, so those are going to be the attacks for each type of creature. On the target, what I want to do is add a component of audio source. I don't want it to play and awake, and I don't want it to loop. do want it to be 2D, but I actually don't want to drag any of these sounds into the audio clip. I want to leave that as none. And then inside of the script, we're actually going to add those dynamically. Okay, does mean that we have to add a new script. So right click, create a new C# script. I'm going to call this one damage. Just open this one. So inside of damage, we actually don't need an update or a start. Get rid of those completely. We do need access to that audio source. So public of type audio source. And I'm going to call it damage sound player. No, actually damage sound will be fine. Okay, then we need access to all three sound files. So I'm going to say public audio clip. And first one was, I'll call it BatBite. Public audio clip. Let's call this Ghost Howl. Public audio clip. Let's call it Zombie Tear. Or maybe Zombie Bite, actually. Do a file and save as. On the target, I can now drag on the damage script. There we go. The audio source is going to be this one, and sound files are going to be these. Okay, so Bat Attack is the Bat Bite, Flesh Bite is the Zombie Bite, and Ghost Howl is the Ghost Howl. So now that we've got access to them, we can dynamically just place those into the audio clip section there and get it to play. This target has a box collider, which is a trigger. And all we're going to do, we're going to listen out for a zombie, a bat, or a ghost. And we're going to do that using an onTrigger enter. So if I type void onTrigger enter, just press enter or return to autocomplete and it'll add all the other stuff. So it's going to listen to the collider, whatever's collided with it, it's going to register it in this variable called other. And we need to say if other dot compare tag is, let's say, bat. Okay, if that is the case, then we're going to say damage sound dot clip damage sound dot audio clip. Oh, there it is, lowercase, thought it was clip, equals this is the bat, isn't it? So it's the bat bite, and that will effectively just load BatBite in there. Okay, and then all we need to do is play. So damage sound dot play. That will play once and it will play that. Okay, then we need to do the same for the other characters. So Control and C, Control and V, Control and V. So now if we say it is Ghost, and it's going to load in the Ghost Howl. And then if it is Zombie, it's going to load in the Zombie Bite. There we go. Alright, so that will then dynamically load those different sound files. Now, if we do get attacked by these creatures, we want some kind of a visual display on screen that shows that we've been attacked. And that's what we have the Art by Candles Halloween icons for. So if we go in textures and we take a look at the medium ones, we've got all these nice little textures. So we've got a bat and a ghost, and then obviously I've got a zombie scratch as well. That I'll show you in a second. So on our canvas, what we want to do is right click, UI, new image, let's drag in that, set native size. It's not a raycast target because we don't need to click on it, it's just a simple image, and that will then get loaded. So let's call that bat image, switch it off, right click, UI, new image. This one's going to be grave, set native size, not a raycast target, and let's call this ghost image. Once again, switch that off, and our last one is in the mobile game resources. It's this scratch. Canvas, right click, UI, image. Let's drag in the scratch, set native size, there we go, not a raycast target, and let's call this zombie image, and switch it off to begin with. Alright, excellent. So now in our script, our damage script, you can actually in fact, we don't need to do this actually in this script. We can do that in main, it will be easier. What we do need to do is that if we get attacked by any other creature, as soon as it hits that box in front of the player, the target, it's going to switch off the character. Okay, so we're going to say this, whatever, oh actually no, not this, we're going to say other dot game object dot set active to false. Okay, so whatever hit, we're going to find the game object that's attached to, and we're going to set that to false. So it's simply going to switch it off. Let's just test this to begin with to make sure that the sounds play and the actual characters do switch off. So I'm going to go to the game, I'm going to uncheck the mute audio, back to simulator, and let's just test this. Actually, it might take a while for them to get here. As we can see, it worked with the zombies. Why didn't it work with the other creatures? Ghost, bat. Now, I know why. Because the zombies have rigid body on them. Okay, and without a rigid body, it just won't register that there's been a collision taking place. So on all of our ghosts, let's add a component of rigid body. Make sure it's kinematic so that they don't fall instantly to the ground. Same with our bats. Add a rigid body. Make those kinematic. Save and test again. Excellent. Okay, so now it's working. As you notice, they get switched off, but they don't get switched back on again. We're going to deal with that shortly. So I think in the next video, what we're going to do, we're going to move back over to the main script and deal with it when the actual characters have attacked you, and then get them to respawn in and get them to actually damage the player.